Hello, hello, hello to everybody here. It's Teresa Sanderson. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to connect with you. We're getting closer to the 4th of July, American Independence Day, and today we're talking about nurses deserve freedom. Let's break the system and build the future. All right, so this is really important. So as we talk about, the 4th of July, American Independence Day, nurses are still waiting for their own kind of freedom. They're waiting for the kind of freedom that doesn't come from fireworks or any special celebrations or anything like that. But they're waiting to finally be seen, heard, and valued inside the healthcare system that has for so long been broken. So freeing nurses from broken systems, this means so much more than addressing staffing ratios or money. It means transforming our culture of nursing from one where nurses eat their young to one where nurses feed their young, restoring dignity to our profession and empowering nurses with a true sense of belonging and a sense that they matter, and creating space for them to show up as leaders and decision makers at all tables, right? So this is really important because broken systems are driving good nurses out. Nurses don't leave because of the work. They don't leave because of the clinical care that's required. They leave because of unsafe conditions, moral injury, and a culture that devalues the people who are holding healthcare together. I mean, without nurses, we would not have hospitals that patients could go to for what? 24/7 nursing care. That is what's provided in the hospital setting. So in the recent years, more than 100,000 nurses have left the workforce. I mean, this is just within the last 2 or 3 years. And burnout, isolation, lack of purpose were the top reasons why. This had nothing to do with pay. And nurses, we know that our new nurses and new graduate nurses are leaving the profession in record numbers. So this is a culture crisis more than a workforce crisis. And culture is what drives our systems. So simply put, freeing our nurses involves or begins with helping them feel a sense of belonging and a sense that they matter. Okay. When nurses feel like a cog in a machine or just a number, morale really drops, retention drops, because nurses don't feel that their presence really matters, that their voice is needed. And so if we can flip the script on that and provide nurses with a sense of belonging and mattering, they will want to stay. They will be more satisfied and they will be able to grow and thrive in that environment. So what does this look like, to give nurses a sense of belonging, a sense that they matter? It looks like including nurses at all decision-making tables, not just in implementation. For too long, choices have been made for nurses by others. And what that has led to is real problems with lack of efficiency and solutions that have been chosen, and nurses have been, forced to work with. So this is an issue. We need to acknowledge the lived experience as data and not anecdotal information, because it's true. The true lived experience of a nurse at the bedside tells the real story. The data doesn't tell it all. We have to encourage nurses also to lead. We don't want them to be waiting to be led, because nurses are solution finders. They are innovators. They are the ones closest to the problem. So we need to lift them up and encourage them to lead and build communities of support, peer support and mentoring, where their well-being is prioritized. So there's so much goodness in what nurses can do, but there is a hidden cost of keeping nurses trapped within the current system and not setting them free to break through these old boundaries that have been set. So when one nurse leaves, there is an average cost across the country of somewhere between $60,000 to $90,000 per nurse due to turnover. This can result in millions of dollars of fees and annual costs for a single healthcare organization. Also, we can expect medical errors to increase because of short staffing, low morale, low well-being, and also plummeting patient satisfaction scores as well, and reduced patient safety. So all of these things result from nurses who are not empowered, have no sense of belonging, don't feel that they matter, and also lack basic well-being. So it's time for our healthcare organizations within the United States to realize that we can't afford to keep doing business as usual. There is a huge human and financial cost at stake if we continue to do so. So this July 4th, I want to encourage you to imagine another kind of freedom, a different kind of freedom for nurses, a space and a time where nurses are part of strategic planning and not just staffing meetings, a place where every new nurse receives solid mentoring, where work-life balance is more than a buzzword and becomes a real experience, a lived experience, and where their innovation and solutions are cherished and not just swept aside. So remember, nurses don't burn out and leave. Okay, let's imagine that kind of a future where nurses don't burn out and leave, where they instead rise, lead, and stay. That is what real freedom for nurses looks like. And so I want to encourage everybody to move toward that. So there's some practical ways that we can move toward beginning to free nurses from broken systems. And that would include things like redesigning shared governance, making it more than a formality or just a box to check. Let's give the bedside nurses some power, not just a presence on key committees, right? We want to support nurse-led innovation. Fund internal pilot programs, offer leadership coaching and development programs, and celebrate improvement efforts. Prioritize psychological safety. Train leaders in trauma-informed supervision. Measure and act on belonging. Use some evidence-based assessments to gauge whether nurses feel like they matter or not. And then create the programs, the structure that is needed to support them in the workplace so they feel that they belong and they feel that they matter. What nurse freedom actually looks like is being free and empowered to say no to unsafe assignments. It looks like having a voice in redesigning workflows, innovating new solutions, accessing mental health support without any stigma, and being surrounded by a community of nurses who lift each other up and really draw a line in the sand that say, we do not tear each other down around here. We feed our young. We are nurses who feed our young. And when we have that kind of culture, all nurses will thrive. So I want to encourage you this July 4th, let's build a new tradition. Let's build a new tradition and begin freeing nurses from the broken systems that they've been trapped within. Because when we do that, we're going to build that future where nurses thrive and healthcare is going to get better for everybody who needs it. Bottom line, when nurses feel like they belong, they stay. When they're empowered to lead, they solve problems. And when they know they matter, they can change everything. So if you're ready to transform the culture of nursing within your healthcare organization, I would love to invite you to schedule a complimentary consult call to see how Thriving Nurse Network can help you build a workplace where nurses lead, belong, and thrive. Thank you for tuning in, and I look forward to hearing from you. Bye.